Oh, okay.
Sorry, Aiden Healy, by the way. Nice to meet you.
I'm Zach.
Daniela.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, this is super awkward.
Yeah.
I always watch like TV shows that do this kind of stuff. I'm like, how do they just find people?
It's a little more awkward when we don't know your name.
Yeah, it's also a little awkward just being walked up to in general. Anyway, I don't have an intro for this. Can we just start off with just get a shot of you guys giving your names and permission to film you? Not that I was assuming you'd bring up a legal dispute, but
I'm Olivia. And I'm Daniela.
and I'm awkward as hell. All right, so the video is going to be on the idea of irony and apathy. Very recently, our generation's been in the spotlight for being politically active with the Florida shooting and the DACA predicament. I just called it a predicament. This is going to be great in post. My question is, do you guys feel like you have enough of a voice in today's, political climate? Do you feel like you're given enough of a platform, or that you're taken seriously, or discredited? Anything?
I feel like since there's like social media platforms and things like that, and there are a lot of people who really do want to make a change, there is a good platform for people that are my age to be able to speak out.
And do you think that the platform's enough, or do you think like the platform's responsible for us feeling this way?
I'm not really sure, to be honest.
I
I feel more like at our age that there is a platform, but it's not enough of a platform for us as a community at our age to do something about it, to really make a change. Because there's not a lot of people who are going to watch it. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who watch it around our age, and maybe a couple of adults. But
All right. Next question is sort of like, do you feel that you're taken seriously, like when you're bringing up your own political debates at home or at school, or do people just go, you're young and inexperienced, you don't know anything?
I think most of the time with me, people don't take it that seriously. I mean, my family does, but if I were to be talking to other people that I wouldn't know as well, they wouldn't really consider it a good opinion.
Why do you think that they would discredit you, though? Is there a particular reason? Or?
Probably just because of my age.
I feel the opposite. I actually feel like a lot of people do take me more serious. I'm a little more serious at school though. So I feel I act very mature for my age, and a lot of adults take me more seriously when I bring up topics like that, because I do see both sides of something. When I'm arguing about a political case, I'm not just arguing one-sided. I can see both sides to it.
Would you say that a lot of adults would either or have this sort of double negative for our generation, which is if we abstain and don't get involved, then we're apathetic, we don't care, or if we do get involved, we're ignorant and don't know enough, and that we should just shut up and let the adults handle it? How do you feel about that?
Sucks.
Yeah, very succinct argument there. Do you feel like there's any way we can combat that, or do you think that it's just going to be all cognitive dissonance from there?
I never really thought about it that much. I don't know.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
I don't know either right now.
All right. This will be the final question. I'm sure you're very busy. Do you feel? Shit, are they here? Oh, that's on recording. We'll cut it. We'll cut it out. All right. The last question is: do you feel like we should be getting political? Do you feel like we have a right as, we're young. I don't know how old you guys, if you can vote yet, but I don't know. Sorry. Can you vote?
We're freshmen.
Freshman? Jeez. Okay. Well, do you feel that you have a say in politics, like at all? Like, should you have that right because you can't vote? Do you think the government has that rule for a reason, or, despite the rule, do you think that you should have a voice, or that should you just remain out of it?
I think we should be able to have a voice because even though we are young, we're still like living like with these rules, and we should be able to have a say in how it goes.
I feel like we should be able to have a voice, but I don't know if at this age we should legally be able to vote. Because, yes, a lot of us can be mature at this age, but there's also a lot of people who aren't very mature at this age and would use that power in the wrong way and wouldn't really understand what they're using it for.
Not everyone's as mature as you guys, which I honestly, this won't be in. I'll just cut the interview there. Thank you very much for your time. We'll just cut it there. So, if it's all right, we'd like to just get your names and an okay to film you, permission to use in our film.
Hi, I'm Jan Dunnigan.
Tim Dunnigan.
All right.
Yes, you have permission.
Film. Thank you. This is gonna look great in post. So, first question is, our generation has been really vocal in the last few months, or at the very least, we've been given more of a higher platform in terms of national politics. Do you think that this is a positive thing? Do you think that maybe it might just be a little weird having a bunch of high schoolers pretend to know what politics is?
I think it's a very, very positive thing. I think it's your generation that's going to be the one to make the difference. I think adults are sitting back waiting for somebody else to do something, and I think that kids are that voice.
I also think that too, but I have to say that I think that they're not, the younger people, they're not burdened by all of this long time of not doing things, or they're not held by the same, what's the word I'm thinking of, the same, I just think they're freer to make things happen. People are so caught up into their own stuff that they can't see it, whereas younger people, I think, have a fresher look at it, and I think that's why it'll work. And it should be that way instead of all these old white guys.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of it is social media? A lot of people think that because of social media that our generation has a larger platform. Do you think that the platform is a positive thing as well, or it has also shown to be kind of a negative thing in certain terms? Do you think?
I think it's just the way it is. That's where we are with the times, and I think you could use it for positive or for negative. And those that choose it do for the right reasons. I think it's a great thing because you can get the message out there to millions, where before social media it was very much more limited. So I think your voice is heard stronger and louder and by more people. And, you know, to Tim's point, I don't think you have the intimidation of older generations because it wasn't okay that we spoke out, and you don't have any barriers holding you back. You just do what you feel is the right thing to do, and I think that's fabulous.
So we would say the question one more time.
Do you think that
I was so caught up in your answer, babe.
You like that?
That was good.
very succinct? Do you think that the platform of social media is a positive thing? Because it has been shown to be both positive and negative when it comes to.
Of course, it's a positive thing. There's always people that are going to make it negative. So, yeah, it's a positive thing. I remember when I was in high school, we didn't know what was happening across town. Now you know what's happening everywhere. Well, heck yeah, it's a positive thing.
The minute it happens,
Yeah,
you know.
but there's always going to be people that are going to mess around and screw things up for everybody. That's just the way things are.
All right, this will be the last question in the interest of time. I'm sorry.
Is this the hardest one?
I arguably, it might just be dumb. So this last question is, there's a lot of sensationalism that comes with this. You know, a lot of what happens in politics and in the media is almost over in a couple weeks. For instance, with the Florida movement, it almost hasn't been mentioned in the news media for the last week. Do you think that the movement's just going to fade away, or do you think that we'll be able to sort of keep it going?
I think you're creating a wave, and you know, waves ebb and flow. But I think the more people you can get involved in that, and the more of us adults that see that what you're doing is effective, will sort of join in that voice too. So I think it's, yeah, I don't think it's I think this time, I think it's going to stick. Just like the women's, you know, standing up for what we never felt like we had a voice to stand up for. I think it's all sort of in that same thing. It's like the oppressed and the minorities are now having a voice, and there can't be anything but positive to come out of that.
I don't agree with that. I don't think so. I think people have to. They might be more energized now, but I just don't see as a collective, as a group of people willing to make a change. I mean, take for example all the violence in cities and stuff like that, in urban settings with shootings and stuff, and nobody does anything about that yet. That's still a life, and yet we compare the shooting with the schools. Everybody's on uproar about it, but yet they don't care as much about other shootings that are so I think that I don't think it's going to last until it has to be bigger than this. I don't see it working. It might last a little bit longer, but I just don't see that we have the gumption to stick it out and really go for something we believe in. I mean, it's one thing to complain and do a march or two, but to really make change, I don't see it.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I think we'll cut it there.
Stop them.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm really opinionated. I'm scared.
No, that's
good.
for this.
Okay.
All right. So, can we just get your names and permission to film you just for the camera?
My name's Owen. You have permission to film me.
It's super awkward.
Hi, I'm Joe, and yeah, all good to go.
All right. So the questions are about, giving young people a place in politics. Are you guys college students by chance, or? All right. So, how do you feel like? You guys have moved past high school, so you're way past where we are in terms of politics. Do you feel like you've gained a place in politics just by being older, or do you feel like because you're still still in college, that maybe you're not quite as taken seriously? I feel that's a really leading question.
No, definitely I don't think we're taken as seriously, just because we think differently than older generations, and I think that they see that, and we're more open-minded, and I think that I know all the people I know that voted, that didn't really affect what happened in the election and stuff. So I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think there's an unfair what's the word? Not bias, but a pre-assumption. That kids my age and your age as well aren't taken as seriously, and I think it goes. I think it kind of goes both ways. With there's a lot of kids our age that will be quick to post something on Facebook or something without really reading up on it. So I think it depends on how much you educate yourself about it, because I don't think our schools do enough to because it's hard for the schools too to give all that information without giving a bias as well towards a sort of political stance. So the more you educate yourself, I think the more seriously someone will take you, as long as you know what you're talking about.
All right. So you brought up social media. It is largely due to the platform of social media that people our age are capable of expressing our opinions on such a wide basis, but it also leads people to be sort of sensationalist or to move quickly from one issue to another. Do you think that social media is more helpful or a hindrance?
I think it's helpful because it, just the way that our society is changing, you can get information faster, easier. But I think you have to be really careful because there's fake news everywhere, and you have to realize who's giving the information out and what the source is, and their own political beliefs, because it could be totally swayed. So I don't know. It's kind of.
I'd say it's both. I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of benefits to social media, but also it really just depends on the source that you're getting it from. So I think it's helpful that you can express your own opinion, but it's important just to make sure you know where you're getting your information from.
And what you said about like bouncing from like each topic to each topic, I see that a lot. Like I think that because there's so many issues right now, like we aren't focusing on like one and like coming up with a solution, if that makes sense. Like the shootings, like that still hasn't, like nothing has happened with gun violence or anything like that. So I don't know. I just think that, yeah, I think people like will take a week and they'll post about something and then everyone just kind of moves on with their lives, which is really sad. But
All right. This will be the last question, just in the interest of time. We don't want to keep you. But this is more for your position on high schoolers, and that is to say that a lot of high schoolers aren't able to vote, and some of them are just very easily distracted or aren't involved in politics, but some of them really are and are very vocal about it. Do you feel like young people should still have a right to influence politics, or maybe give them a few more years, let them reach 18, and then they can participate themselves? Do you feel like...
No, I understand what you're asking. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's really fair that that you, well, I don't know. Are you under 18 or?
I'm 19.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're under 18 and educated on the issue, I don't think it's really fair that you can't vote. Because I'm sure there are kids that are in high school that are far more educated on politics, like certain things, than people my age or even older. So I don't think it's not like once you turn 18, oh, I am qualified to vote, because there's really no difference besides your age. So no, I don't think it's fair.
yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I will just cut it there.